Hi everyone, today I'm coming to you with a little unboxing video. I'm going to try out some Blick Pastels, a set of 48. I'm always looking for some less expensive alternatives, especially if you're really not sure about pastel, if you're a beginner, you're really not sure whether you really even want to invest in a larger set or some of the more pricey pastels that are out there. So it would be great if we can find a few things that'll kind of fit the bill to just get you going, get you hooked, and then maybe you can incrementally purchase some of the other pastels. My sense is that the less expensive sticks have more filler in them and are not pure pigment and a binder, that they may have some talc or some other kind of filler in them that makes the pigment less strong, and that the strokes won't sit down on the paper super well. Now, along with this today, this little demo that I'm going to do is a couple of different papers. I'm going to use Canson paper first, which is an alternative, again, that is less expensive than the sanded papers, right? There's nothing wrong with Canson. It's lovely paper. I used it for years and years, but it doesn't have that sanded surface that grabs onto the pastel in the same way that some of those surfaces that we really love will do. So I'm going to test out these Blick pastels on the Canson and then on a sanded surface. I think that the combination of maybe the less expensive pastels, but still using a surface, like a sanded surface that's a little bit better, may be a good combination and a good compromise to get you going. So let's take a look at these pastels. Let's open up this box. 48 assorted colors. I think it's pretty nice. It's got a nice range of grays here, achromatic grays pretty much. You get into some browns. A fairly good selection of the greens, that's okay. And then the rest of the spectrum looks like some good whites, looks like a nice light yellow. However, it's lacking in some nice, more subtle neutrals, some muted colors and chromatic grays. So there's that. So if this were to be something that works out, I would be looking very quickly to add some chromatic grays and some muted colors onto this. Okay, so let's put this aside. And I have picked a little photo reference here that I think is going to work out pretty nicely. And I'm just going to do a little test here and see what we get. All right, so now let's take a look at the Canson paper. So Canson has two sides. This is almost the same color as my tabletop here. But it has a smooth side, and then it has a more textured side. Now you would think that the textured side would be the one to work on, and it could be, but let's give it a try here. I have two pieces, so let's see. This stick right here, to me, is kind of as close as I'm going to get, I think, to my favorite sketching blue spruce new pastel. So let's just make a little bounding box for a little composition here and put that right up there so you can see it. And I'll just come along and get some idea of some kind of simple composition, simple landscape. Got a little tree line, some tree shapes that have some light hitting them. That's really very nice. And then just get some little idea, and then a little idea of some some clouds sitting here. Got a little telephone pole. I'm going to put it right there rather than where it's sitting. So that's pretty good. All right, let's set that right there. All right, let's put some kind of emerald green down just to get a little chroma going. And it's okay, they're really dusty. And then that, we'll find out whether that's really the paper, whether it's the pastels, or kind of a combination. Now this one feels a little bit different. It's holding on a little bit better. It's not terrible. Let's get this guy. This is a little bright. Let's head to something more like this. Still bright, still brighter than what's there, but not too bad. Let's try mixing with something like this. That's okay. Let's mix in some of this. All right, what about that tree line? How are we going to get that nice and dark? And I don't have a ton of choices, but I've got this nice dark purple. Will get me to the right value range, I think. I've got this road here, put that in there. So I'm having to substitute some sticks that are in the right value range, but the hue isn't exactly what I want, but that's okay. It's fine to err on the side of value. It's a good idea. I'm going to add a little black to this. Even though that's not something I typically would like to do, but again, I'm wanting to get that dark value, and I don't have as many choices, and it's totally fine. All right, let's see about, I'm going to try this one. That's not bad. All right. Then let's see, how about this? And then I'll get some sky in there and see how I'm going to want to try to get that gradation in the sky. Okay, so a little idea of light source, light coming in from this direction, hitting the trees a bit. Maybe mix some of this in to my foreground grass just a little bit. That's okay. Now how about something right here, nice and light in value. Right here at the horizon. Okay. And how about some of these clouds? Just poking along here. And getting some of these kind of gray. Maybe if I add a little bit of purple in there to the clouds, get the underside of them just a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go for this blue. Again, I don't have tons of choices for the sky. But I have some choices. And I'm going to try to knit that sky in and around the clouds rather than okay. Now this is okay, but it's not going to give me the intensity. Let's see if I can press and get a little bit more oomph. And it's okay. And I think one of the things with blending with your finger, these kinds of pastels, you kind of you want to blend with your finger more, because the results, unless you do, are not all that satisfying. It's kind of messy because the pastels are not grabbing on to this paper very well. Now let's make a decision. Let's see. So I'm going to press really hard. Let's see what happens. I'm going to grab one more blue, get a little bit darker. This is darker than I really want to go, but because I just want a little more color in here, I'm going to go ahead and add it. I'm kind of getting something. Got to kind of work at it. All right. Now, let's see. I'm going to do one more thing just to get this to pop a little bit more. Now, see, now what's happening is this is creating a different sort of scene, kind of a different kind of time of day, because I don't really have all the choices that I might want. But it's not bad. Let's mix in some of this purple down in here. All right. What I want to do now is I want to contrast and compare with some sanded paper. Now this is on the rough side of this Canson. Okay. So let's try some sanded paper with these same sticks. Let's just compare. So I'm going to get a piece of Pastelmat this time. All right. All right, here we go. Let's try this. And so same deal. Let me see if I can get this all to fit on the screen. Well, kind of. All right. Now I can tell already just by my very first strokes here that this combination of the little bit better paper, and these pastels is already going to make a big difference. So that might be a way to head. I can already feel it. This just grabs this so much better. You can see it. You can really press and get these sticks to, you can actually get them to do something. All right, there's some action for you. That's not bad, right? I'd definitely go along with this. It's not Terry Ludwig's, but hey, it's pretty good. If you're just starting out and you just want to feel out what pastels are doing, this could be good. A little idea of some light. All right. Well, that's kind of exciting. Again, this is a, lighter in value than I see this, but this is, and you can mix some things to get it to sit back in there a little bit. Like you could mix in a little bit of brown in here. Get it to sit back in there just a bit. It's not bad. Maybe put that little road in here. So this is kind of fun. This is not at all unsatisfying. This has got some potential for people that are just wanting to try some things out. Okay. All right, let's get on to some clouds and sky. How about some this is the kind of dark underside of some clouds. Maybe some gray in there, a little bit of gray. Get a little movement going. Okay. Now I'm going to get that gradation happening. And you see I'm knitting the sky, this gradation, and around my clouds for the most part. And where's my light? Okay. Coming right up to my tree line. So yeah, that's the first time I've used my finger to blend with this combo. And that's good, that's a good sign. I don't want to be relying on blending with my finger. Get in here and get some sky holes just a little bit. It's still not as easy, and that's a little bit of the conundrum, right? When you're starting out, definitely using these materials is a little bit of a struggle. So when you're first starting out, you don't really want to be struggling with the materials, yet you don't want to, be spending so much on materials. So it is a little bit of a thing. When do you decide to make that investment? And that's such an individual thing. And I think no matter what media you're using, that's the case. You're going to get better results with the better materials. But you have to decide, when you're going to start to make that commitment. Do I even like pastels? But I do think that these are not a bad investment, just to kind of start to see whether it's something you even want to get into. So there you have it. So in conclusion, I would say that that these would be a good starting point for someone wanting to check out pastels. What you can think about is you start here, and then if you decide to stick with pastels and you start adding different brands, then you can kind of rotate these out of your palette, and I wouldn't replace these necessarily. It's a set anyway. Not sure that you can buy these individually. Perhaps you can, but you can rotate these out. I would definitely consider using these with a better paper, like a sanded paper, and really avoid a Canson or a sketch paper for these pastels, because the quality of them being sort of chalky, kind of dusty, they definitely have some talc in it, I can feel it. That combination with the Canson or sketch paper is going to make them really dusty, and like what happened. Let's compare the two versions just once again. You can see the pigment really grabs on to the sanded paper in a much more dynamic way, and this one is really relying on using the texture of the paper and finger blending. Now, if you like that look, hey, then you're all set. But this is heading in, to me, a little bit more dynamic direction, where you can really take advantage of what pastels have to offer, kind of get a little taste of the mark making and blending. So I think that might be a good way to go. Okay, all right, thanks so much for joining me and watching my video. Okay, see you soon, bye.